Welcome everyone to another episode of the Will Rock MMA podcast.
What up, everybody?
Talk to me.
So CM Punk, he's fighting in Chicago, UFC 225.
He's fighting in his hometown. I can't wait for this, bro. I can't wait to see CM Punk. You know when someone talks so much shit that he looks so comfortable talking shit like he's gonna come in and make some noise? That's the way I feel about CM Punk. And the interesting part is that they're still tossing it up. They still don't know who he's gonna fight.
Yeah.
Who you think's gonna go?
Somebody that hasn't fought in the UFC. He has to be a newcomer, just like Mickey Gall. That's where he got his name. You gotta remember, he was part of the whole fighting thing with Dana White on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I wouldn't give him anybody that's obviously not ranked, for one. It's a newcomer into the UFC. You have to put him in there with that.
Put him against me.
Well, that was the talk.
Yeah,
that was official talk.
We had that conversation. I wasn't crazy
but I'm not
about
even
it.
gonna entertain that.
No.
Yeah, but we just talking about it just because it's part of freaking MMA.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to say that shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, the next one is also fighting in that card, which is the main event. I think I just posted that. It's Whitaker versus Joel Romero, the rematch. As we know, Joel Romero won the first one. It's also going to be in UFC 225. It's also in Chicago.
I can't wait for that fight.
That's one of those fights that everybody has to tune into. Joel Romero, he has so many skills under his belt, and Whitaker is just on a rampage. If that guy does not get injured, he'll still be holding the title to this day.
For a while, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he gets past Romero. But I will say they're going to figure each other out. Someone's bound to get knocked out.
You think so?
They're gonna figure each other out, man. They're at that level where they figure each other out. Both of these guys got massive power.
Yeah, they do.
They're both so well rounded. I mean, these are probably the two that are the most well rounded in the division, man.
Without a doubt, I think so. Joel Romero knocking out Luke Rockhold was a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
Tremendous knockout. Another win to his belt. He's been performing very well as of late. That flying knee that he did to Chris Weidman as well. Spectacular knockouts. We expect that coming into this fight with Whitaker. We'll get to it when it comes, but I got big hopes with my man Joel Romero.
Really?
Anyways, yeah, really
I might go against you. Not because I don't. Anyways, go ahead, man.
The next one is also Kevin Lee. He's officially been booked with Edson Barboza. That's going down April 21st.
That's ideal fight.
I agree with you 100%.
Ideal fight. Kevin Lee last fight was versus Tony Ferguson. He gets demolished. Edson Barboza for Khabib last. He gets demolished. Yeah. This is the perfect fight for them to both go at it and really prove who's that number 3 and 4 at this point in that division.
Yeah.
I can't wait. This is going to be such a fucking phenomenal.
I agree with you, man.
It's either going to be like Kevin Lee doing what we know Kevin Lee can do, or Edson Barboza doing what we know he can do.
It's so scary when I hear Barboza. It's like how it's really hard to fight this guy. He's so quick on his feet, great techniques with punches and kicks, and then you see a performance that what Khabib did to him, and you're like, holy fuck, that's the way you beat him, right? Is Kevin Lee gonna bring that same energy, like same push, same drive, same like takedowns and all that stuff? Who knows, It's just something to look forward to, without a doubt. A really good match. Really good match to book.
Yeah, UFC did a great job with that, man. It was just everything plans out around the main event for the next card on April 7th. Yeah. So it's just perfectly done.
I agree with you 100%, my brother. Anyways, let's go straight to the card. There's a card this Saturday, UFC Fight Night 127, Verdun versus Alexander Kovac. It's a pretty good card, although there's some namers that I don't know coming from London.
In Europe is
in London.
In London.
Yeah.
Is the time going to change?
Yeah, I think the fight now, the prelims start at 5 p.m. So I think it's a little earlier.
Oh, so it might be one of those cards that starts at 8 and ends at 10 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the other side of the continent. But anyways, let's get straight to the fights. We got to do the picks, and then the week after, somebody's taking shots, right? So the first one is Leon Edwards. He's fighting against Peter Sabota. I really don't know too much about these fighters. They're both, to me, seem to be either newcomers or maybe had one fight in the prelims that I did not see.
Well, good. I'll let you choose first. I got the same thing you said. I'm not familiar with both fighters.
Leon Edwards and Peter Sabota.
Tune in.
I'm gonna just go to Peter Sabota. Is what again? We always talk about these first fights that come out in finally in in the main event. They're always great fights. So I'm gonna go for Peter Sabota.
I got Edwards then.
Alright, cool. So
Leon Edwards.
Leon Edwards, that's correct. The next one is Tom DeWinsnoy. I can pronounce his last name. And Terrion Ware. Terrion Ware, another two fighters that I'm sorry, I just don't know. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm with you as well. So you picked the last fight.
Yeah.
I got the last guy you mentioned.
Okay. Terrion Ware. So in that case, I'll just go against you and go with Tom Nowitzki.
I hope that when we do these results, that we got a lot to talk about these guys, man.
Yeah,
I really do.
Just to bring them up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
Just to give them some freaking.
The next one is John Bankowitz versus Jimmy Manawa. Jimmy Manawa, ranked number 8, has been performing pretty well.
Actually, I'll let you pick the last two because technically you have to pick the main event. You won the last time.
All right, cool.
This is the co-main event. There's only 4 cards and 4 main cards in this card, right?
I'm gonna go for Jimmy Manawa. I think Manawa has the upper hand. You don't have to necessarily pick against me, but Blankowitz has been fucking performing amazingly. So, not to just throw him under the rug, but I just feel like Manawa has more to give from this fight.
I got Manawa. I had Manawa from the beginning. I thought he was gonna do his thing. Manawa's power and his accuracy is gonna win this fight.
Yeah. The next one is Fabricio Verdum versus, which is the main event, versus Alexander Kolvov. Now, Alexander Kolvov has been beating some people up. Like he's the K1 champion coming into the UFC. He fought against, if I'm not mistaken, he fought against Roy Nelson and stopped Roy Nelson the last fight he had.
In the UFC?
In the UFC, yeah. He already has fights in the 2 fights, if I'm not mistaken, in the UFC. The guy is a top-notch competitor in the UFC heavyweight division. I just don't see anybody stopping Fabricio Verdum to getting from that title. So for that reason, I'm gonna pick Fabricio Verdum.
I said this before, man. Fabricio Verdum is the truth. He is somebody who can stand with the best of them at this point, which he was not known. If you go back to his career 3, even further down, say 5 years ago, he was not a stand-up fighter.
But he was also like the top 10 fighter in the top 10
always
fighter in the world.
He's always been the top 10 for years, man. For years he's been top 10.
But he's just closed the niche. Now he's I say he's the number 5.
He reminds me of Robbie Lawler. Like those guys just don't go away, and every time they win so impressively that you like, oh shit, who is he gonna fight? Is he gonna get a title shot?
Right.
So I mean, without a doubt, man, I got Fabricio Verdum, and I actually got Fabricio Verdum realizing that I don't think he can stand up with this guy, which he might still do, but he's gonna submit him, and I hope he does. I hope he puts on a show, man. I want this card to put on a freaking show.
No, I agree with you 100%. Hopefully Fabricio Verdum takes the victory, and we don't have to take shots. But anyways, we'll catch you guys next week. Next week we'll let you know. Next week somebody's taking shots because we picked 2 of the opposite guys, the first 2, and then the last 2 we picked the same person. So
yeah, someone's bound to take a shot. That's
without a doubt. Anyways, people, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Will Rock
it's Will Rock MMA Podcast.
Correct. Same thing.
That's on Instagram.
For YouTube. Same thing for Twitter. And click the button if you like. If you don't like, feel free to do that as well. If you have any comments, any feedback, just let us know. All right. Anyways, peace, fellas.
Peace, guys.